Finance for Children in Sierra Leone. He examined the adequacy, efficiency, equity and sustainability of child-focused spending in the country. UNICEF reaffirmed its commitment to working with the media and other partners to ensure that every child in Sierra Leone has access to essential services and a future filled with opportunity, protection and hope. SLBC News, Aminata Bangua reporting.
The minority leader in Parliament, Honorable Abdul Kabo, has started search for the construction of 11 classroom building in Conakry D town, Port Local district. The Sierra Memorial Preparatory School was said to be the first preschool in the town. The gesture, according to the Honorable Member of Parliament, was to build a solid learning foundation and to develop the children for the future. An Intani reporter, Kalia Tutui, witnessed the turning of the sword.
It was a moment of jubilation in Conakry D, Mayaya section Lunge, as parents and children sang songs and danced in appreciation of a proposed gesture by Honorable Abdul Kagbo and his wife to give a facelift to the Sierra Memorial Preparatory School in Lunge. Sierra Memorial Preparatory School was said to be the foundation of primary education in Conakry D, Mayaya section Lunge, because it was the first primary school constructed in that part of the country. Despite being the foundation of primary education in Conakry D, the makeshift structure, leaking roof and appalling facilities seem to be undermining the relevance of primary education in that part of the country. The reason Honorable Abdul Kagbo and his wife were moved to change such dynamics. The proposed new Sierra Memorial Preparatory School would have 11 classrooms, toilets for both boys and girls, among other facilities, to replace the current makeshift structure. The gesture moved everyone, including teachers, parents, and the pupils, as they narrated the struggle they have been facing due to lack of permanent and conducive learning environment.
We are happy when they are coming to make our schools. Some schools, they are laughing our schools. They said our schools, they are bad.
I feel happy because the other schools, they all been get out of the community. What would they send with Pikin and they would pay Boku money, transport, every day would they pay transport.
Tell what thing is you want the vehicle, business labor continue for business.
Children in the WAF, children at the back of their mothers at the WAF, there are a lot of constraints. But having this school has moved so much the community. Now we can have a child at the age 2 and 3 who can try academically now.
The initiative, according to Honorable Abdul Kagbo, came during an interactive discussion between his child and children in the community during an Eid prayer.
This is part of our own sacrifice to humanity, and as the motto of the school is, it is an attempt to nurture leaders. We nurture leaders. Because when we initially came here, this school has operated for over 4 years. When we initially came here, the kids can't even talk Creole. It had to take us time for them to begin to speak English. And now I can tell you without any scintilla of doubt that they can speak English fluently with ease.
This is the 4th year since the school was founded in September 2021, and it is the Honorable and his wife that have been supporting the children and teachers with salary, learning materials, and offering periodic feeding programs to keep the children healthy and focused. As the people celebrate this milestone, one thing was clear: the impact will be felt for generations to come.
Hundreds of children and families in Makeni have received free medical care from the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. The gesture was part of the media congress as the doctors screened and treated over 200 children and other patients in different health conditions. Here's the report.
The community outreach held at the Makini Government Hospital and the Makama Community Center is part of the Syrian Medical and Dental Association's Media Congress. This year, the focus is on pediatric health screening for malnourished children, hernias, blood pressure, and other medical conditions that often go untreated due to lack of access and resources. The team comprised pediatricians, obstetricians, and gynecologists, doctors specialized in surgery and internal medicines, general practitioners, and nurses, as they spent a day screening over 200 children and adults, many for malnutrition, hernias, and other health conditions. Dr. Bori, a pediatrician, emphasized that the association will continue such intervention and explore ways to provide medical support, especially for children suffering from malnutrition.
Primarily, the goal today was to screen, identify children who are malnourished or at risk of becoming malnourished, and then directing them to the proper, place. So, to be what we call OTP. OTP mean outparent therapeutic program.
Midwife in charge of Makama Community Health Center, Nurse Mariama Jallo, said, as a community, they truly appreciate the outreach, stating that medications was always a challenge for them. She pleaded for drugs and especially food support for malnourished children, stating that many of the mothers could not afford even basic treatment.
The request is next time when they are doing this such an outreach, I think medication is important, it's necessary, because you cannot see a client prescribe and there is no drug.
A mother of three, Aisatu Koroma, said the screening helps them know what's wrong with their children. She also appealed for free medicines. At the Makeni Regional Hospital, the outreach extended beyond children. Dozens of adults were also screened for blood pressure and diabetes, with several hernia operations conducted on site. Doctors offered free diagnosis and guidance on managing chronic conditions. For many patients like Pa Almami Kamara and others, the intervention was more than a medical visit. It was a new lease of life.
Since you don't get well body, all you plant don't go in vain.
Good health is important. I am grateful to the association. I have been living with pain for years. Now I can be whole again.
For again, be well body back. So I'm glad about that.
The district health officer said the intervention was timely and lauded the extra hands and expertise from the association. This outreach is just one of many interventions by the Syrian Medical and Dental Association in their continued partnership in providing health care that can reach the unreached across the country. Slbc News, Esther Sako reporting.
The China-Serbia Friendship Hospital has organized a special outreach program at the St. George's Foundation along the Regent Highway in Grafton. The medical outreach included a range of health services such as height and weight measurement, development assessments, scoliosis screening, among others. The initiative was also to commemorate the Day of the African Child. Aminata Fofana reports.
The medical outreach included a range of health services such as height and weight measurements, developmental assessments, scoliosis screening, diagnosis of common illnesses, and health education on respiratory, digestive, and skin conditions. The founder of the St. George Foundation reflected on the challenges faced in establishing the children's home, highlighting resilience and determination as the cornerstones of the foundation's journey. She expressed a deep appreciation for the support, noting that the assistance was both timely and beneficial to the children. She also emphasized the significance of the partnership with the Chinese medical team and appealed for continued collaboration in other areas of need. Head of the Chinese medical team, Liu Longfei, described the initiative as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen ties between China and Sierra Leone. He commended the foundation for its progress and encouraged the team to maintain its positive momentum. The celebration also featured cultural exchange activities, including drama performances and a language learning session aimed at fostering mutual understanding and friendship between the participants. SLBC News, Aminata Fofana.
In a remarkable milestone, FAWI has celebrated their 30 years anniversary, an event that unveils their unwavering commitment in empowering women and girls empowerment in the country. Over 500 scholarships and over 1,000 employments have been rendered to women and girls through their reign. Cynthia Kama witnessed the celebration and now reports.
This success story shows FAWI's Sierra Leone commitment to ensure girls not only access education but thrive academically and overcome societal challenges.
Since 1995 till date, Forum for African Women Educationalists FAWI has been an evidence of passionate advocacy, having touched and transformed the lives of many women and girls across the country. Partners, beneficiaries, and representatives from different ministries stood in solidarity and acknowledgement of the lives they have touched.
We must continue to train and support our teachers, particularly on the teaching and learning methodology, so that teaching becomes meaningful, teaching becomes enjoyable for the learners, and that's the only way we shall have learners transitioning from one stage of education to another.
National Chair, FAWI, Dr. Olivia Arima Wesley, noted 3 decades is a testament of their transformative journey in gender-responsive practice and inclusive society. National Coordinator FAWI Joseph Alpha Kamara highlighted their success stories over the years, which include the provision of scholarships to students and girls from low-income homes, training of over 2,000 teachers on gender-responsive pedagogy. To break gender stereotype, Mr. Kamara added that over 2,000 employment were created for marginalized women, as well as training of 750 female teachers, among other achievements. Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Dr. Isata Mahoy, described the event as a call to action to ensure every girl has the right and support to access education free from state barriers.
As I stand here as the Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, I affirm my support for programs that help girls stay in school, including support for survivors of abuse and marginalized learners. We believe in empowering families and communities to support girls' education as a shared responsibility, and we are strengthening data systems for better track and progress to guide our interventions.
The 3 decades anniversary, according to Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education Conrad Saki, is a mirror reflecting a legacy of transformed lives and liberated voices.
We must deepen our investment in teacher quality, ensuring that every classroom is led by someone equipped not just to teach, but to understand and empower. We must guarantee that every learning space is safe, inclusive, and free from violence and shame. We must target disparities between rural and urban, rich and poor, and ensure that no region is left behind.
Other partners present appraise the goodwill of FAWI's tireless advocacy for women and girls and affirm their continued collaboration with them. Foundation members and visionaries of FAWI, in the like of Dr. Christiana Top, Mrs. Marion Morgan, Mrs. Rhoda Kesise, Mrs. Josephine Nico, and Mrs. Shirley Rogers-Wright, among others, were praised and recognized for their immense service to the growth and transformation of women and girls in Sierra Leone. For SLBC News, Cynthia Kamara reporting.
In a major step towards sustainable forest management, The Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, in partnership with UNDP, has launched the Tawia Woodlots project in Bila Chiefdom, Kambia District. The initiative aims to promote alternative tree planting for energy and clean cooking. Here's the report.
The launch of the Tawia Woodlots project in Binland Chiefdom, Kambia District brought together government officials, traditional leaders, local council members, and community residents. For years, Tawia residents have relied on forestees for daily needs, leading to massive deforestation. With this project, the community begins a new journey, planting trees to protect, not destroy the forest. As part of the People's Center and Sustainable Development portfolio, the project introduces managed woodlots to provide sustainable sources of fuel, timber, and income, easing pressure on natural forests and tackling climate change. Paramount Chief of Binland Chiefdom, Alimami Sori, expressed appreciation for selecting his chiefdom. He stressed the loss of ancestral trees over the years and highlighted the project's environmental and economic benefits. He also called for financial support for past tree planting activities and requested storage for the tools provided.
I believe that that one is going to help us and it's going to help the community. So we look forward not only as a one-year project, but some amount of additional years to enhance sustainability of the project.
The community showed their readiness by forming a woodlots committee presented by the Paramount Chief to manage the implementation of the project.
We struggle now. We love the struggle. No easy.
This will help us provide for our families. As women, we have struggled a lot, but with this project, we believe things will improve.
Put hand on for let this boy to go before.
The Director of Forestry, Kate Garnett, praised the chiefdom's commitment. She announced the distribution of 10,400 seedlings and working tools and assured that UNDP funds for the one-year project were ready for disbursement. A second component of the project will distribute clean cooking stoves aimed at reducing dependence on traditional firewood. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Elizabeth Awa Eli, urged the community to develop bylaws to ensure the sustainability of the woodlots.
For ensure say this particular woodlot wey they make, if for there with a period of 30 time before they begin to go as una reform director. If we say na 3 years based on the species, the type of seedling where we plant, we for put up our bylaw say after 3 years that person will go cut, and you know they go cut some more until permission is given to you to cut, to harvest.
The launch concluded with the handover of tools to the Tawia Woodlots Committee, marking a hopeful step forward in grassroots climate action. Slbc News, Esther Sako reporting.
The government of Sierra Leone and the Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA) has signed an agreement for the extension of power distribution network along the Freetown Peninsula. The $20 million additional grant is expected to support the construction of 50 kilometers of 33 kV of distribution lines and 40 kilometers of 66 kV lines along the peninsula and the construction of 2 new substations in York and Tombo. The event also saw the signing of exchange of diplomatic notes on the amendments of the grant agreement between the Japanese ambassador accredited to Sierra Leone, Yoshimoto Hiroshi, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Timothy Kaba. Aman Soyi Kamara witnessed the signing at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And our report.
The $20 million additional grant is also expected to support the provision of more than 20 transformers and maintenance equipment for the benefit of coastal communities, beginning from Godrich through Sussex to Tombo and Kent. The original agreement was concluded in 2022, but implementation had to be delayed due to insufficient funds and impacts of COVID-19. The Japanese International Cooperation Agency, or JICA's residential representative in Sierra Leone, said they had to reduce the scale of the project and provide additional grants to meet the original plan. Yonibeyashi Norihito noted the potential significance of the project to the Freetown Peninsula, which is said is experiencing rapid developments, and how the project would as well contribute to the medium-term national development plan, citing energy and infrastructure.
Energy is not just for the industrial development or private sector, but for the social and the public interest. By the completion of our project, profit increase and the job creation are expected in the private sector along the coastline. Moreover, quality of public service, such as medical service in the hospital and education in the school, will be expected to improve. I saw many females engaged in the fishery sector, in the value chain of fishery. By the electrification along the coastline, cold chain for preserving the fishes can be applied, and it will contribute to reduce the burden of these female workers.
The Japanese ambassador accredited to Sierra Leone, Yoshimoto Hiroshi, said the additional grant represents his country's commitment to ensure reliable and sufficient electricity supply in the Freetown Peninsula, as well as support the Ministry of Energy's Reform Roadmap 2017 to 2030.
Right now, the medical facilities in the project areas can only serve an average number of 14 patients a day. But with access to reliable electricity, we expect that number to rise by 26%. That means more people receiving the care they need faster and more effectively. Beyond healthcare, this project will also boost local industries. In particular, it will expand the processing of marine and agriculture products, a sector that employs high proportion of women.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Timothy Kaba, said the agreement demonstrates the urgency to address the energy needs of rural populations and enhance investments for education and digital transformation. The minister commended JICA and other partners for delivering the projects.
Let me also assure you that the government of Sierra Leone remains fully committed to ensuring the transparent implementation, effective management, and long-term sustainability of this project. We view this initiative as a cornerstone in our broader efforts to achieve universal access to electricity in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially Goal 7.
The signing agreement for the extension of power distribution network along the Freetown Peninsula is not only timely, but it might have also come as a massive relief to governments following the Car Power Ship's decision to drastically cut down power supply in Freetown to just 6 megawatts due to unpaid arrears. Soy Kamara, SLBC News, Freetown.
If you're just joining in, this is news coming to you live from the Slbc Broadcasting Corporation from Freetown. We continue with more stories. The race for political leadership in constituency 077 has officially begun as Mayu Kamara declared his intention to contest for the position of Honorable Slot 2 under the All People's Congress, APC. The event brought together party executives, councillors, supporters, and community stakeholders in a show of unity, development, vision, and party strength. Kayatu Ture witnessed the event. We apologize for that. To bring you that insert in a subsequent news broadcast. The Sierra Leone Association of Journalists Large has a new president. Many would say the election of Alhaji Manika Kamara came as no surprise, as the former SLAJ Secretary General was a huge favorite going into the election on Saturday at the Bintu Mali Conference Center in Freetown. He secured 308 of the total 461 votes cast to clinch the top job against his only contender, Mustafa Sise. As Esther Nene Kamara reports, there were also victories for Edward Mara as Secretary General and Bakar, who retained a position as Publicity Secretary. Esther Nene Kamara reports.
National Executive, President Kamara Alhaji Manika, 308 votes. Mustafa MP, 153 votes.
The atmosphere was filled with excitement as Alhaji Manika Kamara was pronounced president of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, SLAJ, amassing 308 votes, clinching the victory from his opponent, Mustafa Sise, who settled with 153 votes. The new president, in his victory statement, pledged his commitment to continue building on the foundation laid by the outgoing president. He encouraged members to work towards upholding the freedom of the press, deepening professionalism, improving the welfare of members, and fearlessly defending journalists.
We must walk the talk with transparency, with humility, and with service above service. We are here to lead you. We are here to serve. Whatever you want, we'll deliver. SLAJ is our people. One SLAJ. Let us join our hands together for the unity of SLAJ.
Amen. Thank you.
The two-day Congress at the Bintumani Conference Center in Freetown served not only as an electoral platform, but also as a forum for dialogue on the role of the media in upholding democracy. Outgoing President Ahmed Sahid Nasrallah, in an interview, highlighted key achievements during his tenure, including advocacy for media law reform, improved welfare for journalists, and the promotion of ethical journalism.
So my expectations are that we will continue to build on the foundation that we have laid. I continue to be others before me have left, and I've added my own bits, and so I expect them to also come and add their own bits and take SLAJ to the next level. We are going to be around to also support them, to settle them, and going to introduce them to the new, to our partners, and also ensure that we give them the necessary support to succeed.
As the new executive takes office, journalists remain hopeful that the momentum for reforms, press freedom, and professionalism will continue to grow. For SLBC, Estanene Kamara reporting.
In an effort to educate users about the critical issues surrounding mental health and substance abuse, the Advocacy for Youth Mental Health and Empowerment has engaged community stakeholders and users and focused on the sustainable abuse, substance abuse, and mental health in the Magazine Court area of Sudan's Bay. The event was geared towards fostering a supportive environment for open discussion and community healing. Our reporter, Christiana Kamara, has more.
The event drew a diverse group of attendees, including government officials, youth, parents, educators, and community leaders. With the rising concerns about drug and substance abuse and their impact on mental health among young people, the engagement served as a timely opportunity for dialogue and education. Users were equipped with the knowledge they need to combat the challenges of substance abuse and its relationship to mental health. Throughout the engagement, participants had the opportunity to hear from a panel of mental health professionals, substance abuse counselors, and community advocates. The panelists shared valuable insights into the science of mental health struggles, the relationship between substance abuse and mental well-being. The program provided a series of interactive discussions that encouraged participants to share their personal experiences and perspectives. Local leaders and participants expressed their appreciation for the event, saying the engagement opened their eyes to the struggles many of them face.
Now this chill not was it and say I get few with the money and me you are going inside the code the open up and program they take all kinds of things. So I know and I'll tell you don't use some system. So for left and if I not take and you are the feel, I the sick, that the bring one belly, What they wombele that moment they ale cannot eat naturally make a wombele. If you see the team member from my take up this sweat and they wombele like I can take and the wombele don't know. Now who will make glad you and call this program for help life there. Who they tell them God give them the strength and the power, make them able. They may God give them the capability more and more, make them able because you the young one, you don't pull, some man don't die, some man that night don't sick, some man in a sick bed.
One need help from the government now. For since some of we that we go school, one sit to us, but help not be there. Say work camp, fortunately, and two bad friends they know can put up this job. We need help now in this school community. We need help. We need serious help. They suffer. This we're not really happy for way to they pronounce now. Because of situation no more.
According to the program consultant Esther Cisse, the organization plans to hold more engagements and workshops in Freetown and beyond, aimed at promoting mental health awareness and substance abuse prevention among youth.
By coming to the communities, because if we are being honest, we've held so many conferences in the fancy places, but nothing is happening. So we as advocates for youth mental health, we decided to come to the community and meet the people that are affected by kush and all the other stuff, because kush is not the only substance, of course. Alcohol is the oldest substance that they've abused for so long, that tramadol, 2 to 5 ecstasies. So we've come to the community to see and talk to the people directly.
The event concluded with a call to action, encouraging attendees to take the information to their families and friends and also advocate for their mental health awareness within their communities. SLBC News are in Freetown. Christiana Kamara reporting.
The Global Foundation Network has concluded a comprehensive 5-day nationwide survey on drug and substance abuse among children and adolescents aged 8 to 18 years. The exercise marks a significant step towards generating reliable evidence-based data to inform national response strategy on drug abuse among minors. Esther Susanette Bassi reports.
The data validation project, spearheaded by the Global Foundation Network Limited Sierra Leone, was aimed to highlight the scale of drug abuse among young people and supports the implementation of appropriate intervention and rehabilitation programs. Executive Secretary Samuela Grace Coker said the project was about saving lives. It is about identifying victims early and connecting them to treatment, recreational and reintegration programs, noting that proactive steps must be taken as soon as possible to secure the future of children.
We are really here to support them and help them and make a difference in the country. So, our plea to the government, NGOs, we need their support and their fund for us to get a rehabilitation center, because that's the only way for us to help them out there, bring them back. Because going out, taking them, bringing them to the rehabilitation center, having them away from the drugs is a very good way for us, saving them and helping them back in society.
According to findings presented by founder and CEO of the foundation, Dr. Samuel Coker, a total of 4,025 children and adolescents were found to be engaged in drug and substance abuse across the country. The gender breakdown reveals a troubling disparity. 2,984 boys and 1,041 girls were identified as victims.
And most of the children in the community, they have been deserted by their family. They are now living in the streets. We can't sit back and allow them to die. We have a role to play. We have an obligation as a nation to save this life. And one of the main ways we have to do this is to have a holistic rehab center. A holistic rehab center is a holding center where we have all these children into one side, give them the proper rehab requisite medication. That is the detox, the treatment, the counseling. We come back to the recreational activities, wherein we have these children that are not into academic institution. We get them going to skill training.
Key highlights of the report include 355 school pupils who were discovered to be involved in harmful drug use in 555 schools surveyed nationwide, whilst 3,668 children and teens were recorded as engaging in street-level drug consumption. In addition, the most consumed substance among minors is kush, a synthetic drug known for its devastating health effects. The Western Area Urban was identified as the most affected district in the country. The foundation has long been involved in anti-drug campaigns and behavioral change advocacy. Over the past 6 years, it has produced impactful video documentaries and awareness content on the abuse of drugs such as marijuana, kush, ecstasy, and cigarettes. Global Foundation Network is now calling for national collaboration to scale up rehabilitation efforts and strengthen protective systems for Sierra Leone's vulnerable youth population. For SLBC News, Esther Suzanette Bassi reporting.
It's now time for us to go in for international news.
This is the international news with me, Esther Suzanette Bassi. Police says a 57-year-old Australian police officer has been shot dead on a rural property in Tasmania while serving a warrant to repossess a home. The officer had arrived at a house in North Mutton near the town of Alvaston on Monday morning when he was fired at by a member of the public. A second police officer returned fire, injuring the suspect's hand. The suspect surrendered and later received treatment in hospital, police said. Following Monday's shooting, a crime scene was established in North Mutton and the coroner was notified that there is no ongoing threat to the public. The police are not naming the officer out of respect for his family, as some family members have yet to be informed of his death. Democratic Republic of Congo Interior Ministry has said that at least 29 people have been killed in flood waters and landslides in the Democratic Republic of Congo's capital, Kinshasa, following unusually heavy rains in the dry season. Homes were swept away, roads were flooded, and widespread power cuts were recorded as a third of the city was affected by the downpour. Experts say the heavy rains are being fueled by climate change. The consequences are devastating because of a lack of urban planning and proper drainage. As protesters marched through central Barcelona on Sunday, they shouted at the tourists who were filming them to go home. Bemused couples sitting in street cafes got squatted with water pistols, and a luxury clothes store was pasted with stickers declaring the tourists who had shot themselves inside unwelcome. Tourism is hugely important to Spain, and Barcelona is a top destination for visitors. But the crowds are growing so fast that many locals complain they are being squeezed out of their own cities. Other signs called for a ban on the giant cruise ships that dock here, with one announcing that over-tourism is killing the city. And finally, in the international news, after days of uncertainty and negotiations, the funeral arrangements for Zambia's former president have been finalized. Edgar Lungu, who led Zambia from 2015 to 2021, died 11 days ago in South Africa, where he was receiving treatment for an undisclosed illness. According to his family, he had left instructions that his political rival and current president, Hakainde Hichilema, should not come anywhere near his body. But a spokesperson from the Lungu family confirmed that an agreement had been reached with the government that allowed for Hichilema to preside over a state funeral next Sunday. Speaking for the government, Mr. Kangwa appealed for unity and thanked Zambians for their patience during this difficult time. Well, that's all for the international news with me, Esther Suzanette Bassi. Thanks for watching. Continue to stay glued.
Many thanks to Esther Suzanette Bassi for the latest update in international news. We now go in for sport update.
Hello, it's Sports Updates on the news with me, Mohamed Lamenti. In this edition of the updates, we are at the Slafa Academy as the Reality Football Club, in collaboration with the Sustainable Sports, has ended a one-day football clinic. Let's join Abdul Kabir for more details.
Promising young footballers across Freetown took part in an impactful one-day clinic, a collaborative effort between Reality Sports Club and Sport for Sustainable Development, hosted at the Sierra Leone Football Association Academy. The initiative was designed to cultivate a lasting sporting environment that supports the holistic development and well-being of teenage players. The clinic offered an immense and practical experience for the youngsters and providing comprehensive instructions to essential football drills and fundamental techniques. The core objective was to establish a robust foundation for their continued advancement in the sport. Auna Kagbo, head coach and trainer of Support Sports in Sierra Leone and Superstar Football Academy, emphasized the vital importance of such development clinics. The essence of this clinic is to help these teenagers not just reach but truly exceed their aspiration in the game.
Well, this again beaucoup impact to the kids and in life. One, it keep them fit because this exercise alone it make them even some sick not able to stay in your system. Then one thing, then two, their movements they are some parents and they not get the access. We want to have to demonstrate.
Underscoring the commitment to unlocking each player's full potential. Other members of the local football community present at the event shared similar sentiment. They highlighted the critical need to actively enhance the skill and ambitions of these young players to ensure the sustained growth of Sierra Leonean football in the years to come. The day concluded in an engaging discussions and, significantly, a comprehensive teamwork. This session was strategically designed to re-evaluate and positively redirect the future trajectory of the game for the participating teenagers. This collaborative endeavor represents a significant stride towards empowering the next generation of football stars in Sierra Leone. Abdul Kabir, SLBC Sport, Freetown.
Now in the international scene, we look at the FIFA World Club Cup, which is ongoing as the opening ceremony has commenced with electrifying moments. Well, that's all we have in this edition of the update. Thank you very much for joining me. I am Mohamed Lamintue, and goodbye.
Many thanks to Mohamed Lamintue for the latest in sports updates. Well, from there, that's how we draw the curtains of the news this morning. But before we go, a quick recap of our main point. The Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs has expressed deep concern over the recent surge in violent acts targeting children. The Ministry is now making a strong call for action from all stakeholders to put an end to the series of disturbing child abuse cases reported across the country, including neglect, sexual abuse, trafficking, and murder. School authorities at Grace Primary Methodist School in Brookfields have called on government, humanitarian aid, and NGOs to provide support in improving the school's facility and condition. The school currently lacks basic facilities such as water, access to toilet facilities, and more. And hundreds of children and families in Makini have received free medical care from the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. The gesture was part of the media congress as the doctors screened and treated over 200 children and other patients with different health conditions. That's how we wrap up this edition of the news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I have been your presenter, Esther Sako. Continue to stay with your public broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Up next is Good Morning Sierra Leone.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else,
or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
The taxi driver,
The barber,
the drummers, the dancers.
all of us.
All of us, everybody, we are Freetown.
The past is ours.
The future is ours. It's our time again.
And this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
The greengrocer,
The teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
this light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
the rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors, and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown, Freetown. We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Now pass we all they pass like stranger them, but we all don't dare from them. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
Discover Sierra Leone, a hidden gem of West Africa, where the rhythms of life dance in harmony with the beauty of nature.
Feel the heartbeat of our culture in every beat of the drum, in every step of the dance.
Experience the tranquility of our shores, where each sunrise brings new stories and endless possibilities.
Immerse yourself in the vibrant tapestry of our daily life, where every color tells a tale and every face a friend.
Come, be enchanted by the sights and sounds of Sierra Leone.
A place where your adventure awaits
And memories are made.
Today is Tuesday, the 17th of June 2025. Good morning and welcome to our breakfast show, Good Morning Sierra Leone. This is the program that starts your day with news, analysis, and different views on issues happening around the country. I am your presenter, Emmanuel Samuel. Our quote of the day is from an American clergyman, John Shelby Spong, and it says, "Whatever diminishes life is evil, and whatever enhances life is good." Bear that in mind. Coming up, UNICEF calls for more advocacy in budget planning and implementation. SLAG demonstrates democratic prowess in its 2025 elective Congress. And Forum for African Women Educationalists celebrates its 30th anniversary. That's for short, we used to call it FAWE. Well, we invite you to participate by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen, or join us on Facebook at SLBC Live. The program you are watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. program you are watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. We start the discussion proper to our second headline story. The Sierra Leone Association of Journalists has proven to be arguably the most democratic institution in Sierra Leone, quoting Emmanuel Samoa of the SLBC. The Sierra Leone Association of Journalists large successfully held its national and regional elections on June 14, 2025 at the Bintumani Hotel in Freetown. On the request of Slbc, NU deployed 4 senior and highly experienced observers to observe the process from the opening of polls, voting, ballot counting and tabulation to the announcement of the results. According to NU, the whole process was peaceful, transparent, well organized and followed due processes and procedures. Many Sierra Leoneans are impressed with the Slbc Electoral Commission. For more on this excellent output by Slbc, we have in the studio the Slbc Commissioner for the Western Area, Daniel Mosi. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much, Manuel.
So, firstly, I want you to assess yourselves as commissioners, one of the commissioners, putting such hectic process together, because we know as journalists, the criticism, even within ourselves, was so great for you guys. So, I want you to assess yourselves.
Well, if I want to assess, I will tell you it's 99%. I will leave the 1%. I don't want to say 100%. But Emmanuel, know that elections is about integrity and fairness, transparency. So if you, go around that ambit, then obviously you get an excellent result. So conducting election for Slbc, journalists, it's something that is very cumbersome, looking at the type of work we do and the liberty that we have to talk to ourselves. What drives, this your move to conduct an election that has received so many commendations from different quarters? Well, actually, we have to, first of all, as journalists, we always look at other people. And so we have to look at ourselves, because we should serve as the example. If we are criticizing other people or talking about other people, we have to set the example. For them not to point fingers and not say, hey, see them telling us, now see what they are doing. So we make sure that we conduct this election, properly, so that, other people will learn from us. So at the same time, members should know that conducting an election, or election, is not about fights, it's not about, problems, but it's something, at the end of the day, we all, mellow together.
Well, looking at the outcome of the election, many will think, from the jubilation and the talk, many will think that maybe the process was so simple for you guys. So, can you just, summarize the process?
No, Emmanuel, it was not simple. This election is the most difficult one. I've been part of an election where it's between Monk, the outgoing president now, and Mustafa. It was not as tough, as this one. Indeed, this one is very tough because...
So what were the bottlenecks that made this election more tougher than the previous ones?
Well, it's because the candidates that is moving from Secretary General coming to serve as president, and as against the front runner, Mustafa Kessise. And it was very tense because people are looking at, saying, no, it's my time. And we that are conducting the election, we're not looking at people telling us it's your time. We are conducting an election to make sure that, the winner wins. And the process is that it's very rigid. It's not as easy as you look at. If you want to be an eligible member, you must make sure that you pay your dues so that you be a full-fledged member. I'm not saying I'm a journalist, no. You're a journalist, yes. But what makes you a journalist and a member of SLAT is to pay your dues. So we look at all that. Before you vie to be a candidate, you must make sure that you clear all, even if you have arrears or so, before you vie, because we're going to look at that. And if you want to contest, you must make sure that you have clean record. If your record is not clean, obviously we're going to put you out. So the process was rigid, because my chief electoral commissioner is a woman, very, very rigid woman. I mean, you know Zainab Joki, very strict. And so we look at all those steps, processes, to make sure that somebody who is going to vie for a position is eligible.
So there was a particular instance when Slbc released, let me say, the preliminary voters list, and Mustafa Kessisi, the petition released, calling for re-verification process.
Yes.
You know, how cumbersome was that process? Because we had that, you know, you were there and ACC were also called, yes, to do this re-verification before the elections.
Yes. Mustafa Kessi's camp, you know, they wrote a letter to us asking that to verify the voters list, that they are not satisfied, they want to see. Well, we referred them to the secretariat to say, write to the secretariat, and then the secretariat will talk to us. So they did, and the secretariat came up with an agenda that were to meet together with Mustafa Kessi's campaign team, and also they're going to invite ACC, and of course the Slbc, you know, my chief commissioner, and me for Western area. So we attended that meeting, and the first thing that arises from that meeting is that they objected to the agenda. To say, you know, is that the secretariat do the agenda without their knowledge. Okay, we say, how do you want us to go? Say, okay, we should go this way. You know, we listen to them, what they want. What do you want? Okay, we are going to make the agenda together. So, okay, let's go ahead. So that is what we did on the first day. Although that was not our intention, because we went there for verification, you know, of the voters list. But they come up with that. And we knew where they're coming from. So we listened to them, and we all sat down and, you know, drew up that agenda before they agreed to sign the conformity list, the form. Okay, that was the first day. The second day, went there and, you know, we started the verification. At the end of the day, some people who were on that list were booted out, you know, through that verification. So it was very good, very tedious, and even new, because we were there in the afternoon until late. But at the end of the day, we were able to settle.
Okay, so continue to stay with us. He is Daniel Mosier, one of the commissioners that conducted the just concluded SLbc successful elections. You know, we go to another issue. As Africa observed the Day of the African Child on the 16th of June, reflecting on the Soweto uprising, this year 2025, UNICEF interacted with the media in Sierra Leone on planning and budgeting for children's rights and the role they should play in pushing child rights planning and budgeting in the limelight of national and local agendas. This year's theme, Planning and Budgeting for Children's Rights, Progress since 2010, encourages reflection on how far UNICEF has come and where they must go next to transform commitment into lasting change. Well, for more, we have Sebastian Akong Wale, the social policy specialist from UNICEF. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Akungwale.
Thank you very much. I think I must give kudos to you. You're one of those few persons who have gotten my name at the very first try. The pronunciation, my surname, I mean. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And you are calling for, you know, budgeting and planning for child's rights, this advocacy. Why?
Yeah, to begin with, I think we need to actually thank those of you members of the fourth realm of the estate who were there yesterday with us to mark the Day of the African Child. And also, going by the theme for this year is more or less some kind of reflection on how far have we come in the past 15 years, because in 2010, the theme that was chosen then was planning and budgeting for children. So now we wanted to do some kind of stock taking. In the last 15 years, what have we done? So yesterday we played host to members of the media where we tried to inform them on what we do as UNICEF. For us, it's not just public finance, the regular public finance. For us, when we go to public finance and planning, we go to it with an optics of the child. We want to see how this affects the child, and in this case, the children of Sierra Leone. So from that angle, we say to ourselves, okay, what has been the progress made thus far in the past 15 years in the context of Sierra Leone? So some progress has been made, even though we still have challenges. Some progress has been made. The free education system, especially at the basic level, we have seen expansion in enrollment rate and retention rate as well. We've also seen expansion in immunization, but we also still have some work to do there because we are not where we should be. We've also seen some kind of expansion in social protection services also. And also in terms of some newly created dedicated budget lines by the government for the first time has also been created. Things like immunization now have dedicated budget lines and early child development, those type of progress. We've seen that kind of progress, but we still have some challenges.
So UNICEF, you are calling for is the institutionalization of child rights-based budgeting.
Yes.
So when I saw this, I keep on wondering, over the years, donor partners, governments, they have been pouring money into what we call the child rights, based advocacy.
Yeah.
Is it that all of these years, those funds, they have not been institutionalized?
It's one thing for you to get the budget, to get funds in the budget. It's another thing for you to make sure that your budgeting is child focused, which is what we try to use these days. You can say child rights. What are the rights of the children? We talk about the access, the child's right to education, the child's right to well-being or good health care, the child's right to protection from harmful practices. Now, it's one thing for you to advocate and the government maybe allocate that money. It's another thing for you to see to it that this money that you advocate and the government put into these key sectors for the children, it becomes an institutionalized mechanism to say, as we go, is the budget for education conforming to both the Dakar Declaration and the Incheon Declaration that requires a government to spend at least 20% of its national expenditure on education? Yes, Sierra Leone is doing that. Okay, for healthcare, is the government dedicating up to 15% as per the Abuja Convention? That one, Sierra Leone still has some work to do. So if you institutionalize them, make them more, you have canons provided for them, you put them into the national framework, into the policy framework of the country. It's no longer something you debate a lot about. It becomes something that the Ministry of Finance and the relevant sectors and sectors themselves begin to know that, okay, this is where the government policy is headed and this is the national priority of government, and therefore statutorily this becomes the level of attention or prioritization we will accord to such a sector, a child-focused or child-sensitive sector.
So, Mr. Akungwale, another thing that you guys are calling for is for the investment in data system and transparency mechanism. So it makes me to wonder, is it that the child rights advocacy or the fight on child rights, there are no better data systems, or there is not much that type of transparency mechanism that will make this particular fight a winnable one?
Yeah, data system, you can never have enough data systems in place. What you need to do is to enhance and build on what you already have. So what does this type of data give you? What does this, okay, if we were to enhance our systems and processes again, what can we get? So, and then how linked are these data systems to get to these databases? Do they speak to one another? Such that if you were to advocate or think about a government policy, you can say to yourself, okay, we have data on children that are out of school, we have data on retention rate, we have data on this, how much will it cost us? All of that needs to be institutionalized and to a very large extent centralized, so that it becomes very easy for coordination, intersectoral coordination of programs and programming.
Okay, so continue to stay with us. He is Sebastian Akongwale, the social policy specialist for UNICEF, where UNICEF are calling for proper, budgeting and implementation when it comes to the child's rights. Well, we move on to another headline story, which has to do with education and women's empowerment. Mr. Kano, and welcome to Good Morning, Sierra Leone.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. Joseph Alpha Kamara.
Okay, Joseph, thank you very much. Yeah. So, Mr. Kamara, I want to congratulate you guys on your 30th anniversary celebrations. Yeah, 30 years is not 30 days or 30 weeks. It's a whole lot of work. So, these 30 years, how have you guys been?
Thank you very much. And celebrating 30 years is a moment of laughter. And it has been a moment of love. It has also been a moment of adventure. Adventuring into the unknown, because there has been like transition in the education system since we started our activities from 1995. Because we already started as a local non-governmental organization in Sierra Leone in March 1995 to 2025 is 30 years of existence. And we've managed to work closely with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School Education, implementing and partners implementing a number of programs to achieve equity and quality within the classroom.
So in these 30 years, what is there that people should, join FAWE celebrate about?
We have a lot to celebrate.
What are those?
And
those that are evident.
One has to do with closing the gender gap in education, because currently the teaching workforce is mostly male dominated. According to the school census report 2022 to 2023, it states that we have 27.3% of women in the classroom, whilst the rest are men. So, which means the achievement of the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act, the GW Act of 2023, which sets aside 30% female quota, the achievement of that is still a challenge within the teaching workforce in Sierra Leone, which also means issues of school-related gender-based violence taking place in respective schools. Girls will not be confidential over the 30 years. It's introducing the Girls Mentorship Program. The Girls Mentorship Program has benefited over 150,000 school-going children across Sierra Leone, across the 16th district of Sierra Leone. This Girls Mentorship Program is focusing on building life skills, self-confidence and self-esteem, assertive skills of girls to be able to come forward to report issues of school-related gender-based violence whenever they take place within their respective schools. Because the issue we have, we no longer have a policy gap. If you take a look at the Ministry of Education, there is a policy for everything. But implementing the policy in schools is still a challenge. We have the comprehensive school safety and policy developed by the Ministry of Education in 2023. And when you take a look at the comprehensive school safety policy, it highlights critical areas that will ensure the protection of girls, of children, especially girls, in their respective schools. You also take a look at the 2022 to 2026 education sector plan. You take a look at the three critical pillars in the education sector plan, you realize that they are all focusing towards ensuring what? Retention, transition and completion. Because we no longer have issue of access. When FAWE started, our operations in Sierra Leone, the focus was access to education for girls. But lately, as a result of the introduction of this free quality school education, we realized that the issue of access is no longer the problem. The problem we have is across the country, and those 27 schools, we have 12 and pre-primary and primary schools. We have a total of 10 junior and senior secondary schools, and we have 3 technical vocational institutions right across the country. Because when we started, our focus was giving access to girls to go to school. That was then. But over the years, we realized that the context of education has evolved. The context of education has evolved. So we try to reposition ourselves to fit into the present context. That is the reason why, if you go to like the Grafton, you find like a faraway junior and senior secondary school. You go to Waterloo, you can find a faraway junior and senior secondary school. You go to Bombali, you go to Putloko, you go to Bo, you go to Bamba, you go to Kono, you go to Kabbalah, you can find a faraway girls junior secondary school. So when we started, it was like basic at primary level, but we have like graduated from pre-primary, primary, junior secondary to senior secondary schools and technical and vocational institutions across the country.
Okay, so continue to stay with us. He is Joseph Alpha Kamara, the National Coordinator for Power Sierra Leone, talking on the slides they have made in the 30 years of existence in Sierra Leone. When we go over to our health tips, today health tips, we take a look at neck pain. And neck pain can last for days to years, depending on the cause. Common causes include physical strain, poor posture, mental stress, spinal stenosis, herniated disc, pinch, nerve, tumors, and other health conditions. Join Dr. Andrew Bang as he answers some of the most common questions about neck pain. Watch and learn.
What are the different types of neck pain? Neck pain often gets categorized in a few different ways. One of them is just right in the neck, or axial neck pain. That's when your pain stays local right in the cervical region, maybe on the sides or in the center, but stays here. You can also have radicular symptoms, and that just means that the pain travels from the neck down into your arm, down into your hand, or into your shoulder. What are some common causes of neck pain? Common causes of neck pain can vary, but frequent ones that you will experience is coming from activities of daily living. You're going to feel neck pain that's more like achy, sore, stiff, or restricted. You're going to feel it's difficult to turn your head left and right. Sleeping may even become difficult. Neck pain that comes on from sickness is oftentimes known as sore, stiff, and achy as well, and often resolves as the illness goes away. When your injury comes on from a slip or fall or car accident, that can lead to more trauma in the neck. It can lead to things like slight tears in the muscle, tendinitis, or even herniated discs. That will lead to more serious pain and sometimes radicular symptoms down into an arm, or hand, or finger. What are some home remedies for neck pain? First, remember this: motion is lotion. Our activities of daily living often cause us to do the same things repetitively. So if you try to stop that by moving frequently and making sure you change positions, that will help avoid you from having that neck pain that comes on from doing the same thing repetitively. Other great home remedies, you can find an ice pack in the freezer. Heating pads also are fantastic. With both of those, you want to spend about 20 minutes with the heater ice on, then take it off. Any kind of home stretching that you want to do, speak to your physician or chiropractor or physical therapist for home exercise that you can do easily. There's a lot of great over-the-counter helps you can find at the drugstore as well, including neck collars and braces if you feel really stiff and restricted, and over-the-counter medications that help relieve pain so you can keep going throughout your day without thinking about your neck pain constantly. What if home remedies don't work? For some cases, it is appropriate to go to the emergency room if your pain is severe. Oftentimes, though, your primary care doctor will send you to physical therapy, chiropractic, massage therapy, occupational therapy. What fits your needs the best that will help you get better and getting back to life? Can neck pain be prevented? Yes, I think most neck pain can be prevented. So if we're careful about our posture and where our computer screen is, that we take breaks from using our phone, and if that we switch up our task where we can give our neck a break, a lot of neck pain can be avoided. Also, great sleeping posture, like avoiding stomach sleeping where your head has to be turned for long periods of time. It's easier to treat acute neck pain and get it to resolve than to try to treat and fix chronic neck pain. So if your symptoms aren't going away quickly, get seen by a physician or other healthcare provider soon.
You've learned something from Dr. Bang on how to prevent yourself from getting neck pain. For me, I've learned something new. Well, we continue the program. We still have with us the Western Area Commissioner for Slbc, those people that conducted the Slbc elections. Danos, when after the elections, we just saw people saw like talk out. We are there. Some of us were there because we are Slbc members. We voted, and some other people were not there. So they do not have that type of opportunity to really understand or know what really happened inside that hall or in that vicinity. So just wanted to give the public a glimpse of what occurred there that made this election to be successful on the polling day.
All right. Well, on polling day, because according to our timetable, polling starts at 9 o'clock, exactly at 9. And then it closed at 3. Because of the proxy votes, we had to extend another 30 minutes. So, because voting was supposed to close at 3, so it ended at 3:30. Then we make sure that we close the doors, and because each and every box, we have seals, and those seals, those are observers and candidate representatives. They have a record of them, and we have to call out that, to cut the seal from the boxes as well. And then we have to empty the box, sort out the ballots, papers, and then we start counting. This is how it goes. And so in that process, we don't allow people to come in because we don't want people to disrupt. But when they were outside, we hear them blowing whistles, but it was we started with the organizing section way down. When we started counting the proxy, I think there's some little leakage, but then we tried to immediately step in and stop that from people to get any information. So what we did, we took their phones, those observers, those candidates, so say, we need your phones so that nobody will communicate outside. So that is what we did, and it came out successfully.
So during that polling day, the suspense were too much. Even us as the voters, when we were going inside the hall, you took away our bags and our phones and never allow anyone to take shot of anything. Why?
Yes, because all that again will bring confusion, because we don't want people to go and tell their candidates, we voted for you, or I did not vote for you. So we don't want people to take pictures, because that again will send bad signal. So that's why we take your bag from you, and then you go into and when you come back, you collect your bag. If you have a phone, you take it from you as well. So all that we're trying to prevent any suspicion or confusion.
So when you were inside the hall, I would say you are inside the pots, and outside the fire was boiling. Did you guys feel any tension when you are, doing the process, especially during the counting process, when the suspense was very, very high as at that time, because no one knew what was happening inside there, even the results?
Yes. Well, to us, we see there's no tension because we're monitoring what is happening outside. That's why you see few police officers. Otherwise, it will have been a truck of police officers. But we know what we're doing, and we did it step by step, because the candidates, they have their representatives, and we have new observers. And we believe that on what we were doing, We know we're right at the point, and definitely we know the outcome.
So, Slbc, which is the body in Sludge that conducts it. Commissioner for Slbc, the Western Area Commissioner for Slbc, one of those people who, conducted, they just concluded Sludge elections. And he has been a commissioner for over 3 years now. Yes. They conducted the previous elections, and they are the ones that are still conducting the elections. Thank you very much for you guys for holding up to this particular task. Among us, yes. Very critical.
Thank you.
Well, we still have Mr. Akongwale with us in the studio from UNICEF. Mr. Wale, UNICEF is recommending that there should be scaled up social protection when you talk about protecting the child.
Good question. Now let's take the broad meaning of social protection. It has elements of social assistance, it has elements of health insurance, it has elements of labor laws to also protect children from other age from being employed. So it's a very broad concept there. So you and I know that if you want to look at it broadly, at that point it begins to have some element of correlation with or closeness to also child protection if you want to look at the labor law aspect. So we need to pick them apart and then come back finally to social assistance, which also is at the core of social protection. So for now, the level of coverage I think is less than 2% of those who you will say in the national social register. I need to check the statistics to confirm, but again, I can tell you
you've put it in that context. So you are calling for increased investment.
Yes,
in
increased
child
investment.
protection.
Yes.
Is it that there are not much investment when it comes to protecting the child? Because even you donor partners, you pour money. Government also are pouring money. You have those NGOs are also pouring money. So is it that all of these funds, the investment, are not that much to protect the child?
Now let's get to the very basis of this. For now, as we speak, the social workforce of those who work with children who have experienced one or two types of harmful practices, the ratio for now is very inadequate. And then some of them are people, some of the staff, we're also trying to see to read that they get into permanent base. Every child has a decent shot at being provided for, cared for, protected from all kinds of practices that are harmful to the child.
So, Mr. Akongwale, before leaving you, I pondered over this, asking myself that UNICEF, they've started raising this issue. They use the Day of the African Child, which is very much appropriate. So I asked myself this question, and I'm asking you, is it that you raising this issue about budgeting and planning? Because all of these things you are calling for
Central Africa, Sierra Leone is spending up to 20% of its budget on education, which conforms with the Dakar Declaration. It conforms with the Incheon Declaration that countries should spend 20% at least of their national budget, or at least 15% I think of their GDP. So Sierra Leone is doing well, but health, Sierra Leone still has some work to do. It's spending less than 10%, which is contrary to the Abuja Declaration, which Sierra Leone is a signatory to. Then Ministry of Children and Gender and Children, less than 1% of the national budget, and that is where the workforce that is supposed to be doing all child protection services is supposed to come from. Less than 1% of the budget. So if you had very probably